Gotta get the Vaselina. Just left the gym. I put my hat on, gotta clock in. Tis the season, so you know I gotta be in for my shift. Only real ones know what that is, eh? Make sure I'm good at run, good at time. Okay. So, today I'm going to talk about, whenever you see this, I want to talk about how romanticizing the past, nostalgia, getting too caught up in nostalgia makes you miss out on the magic of the present moment. And my generation has this shit bad. Like, bad. Granted, we done seen a lot of shit. We've been through some traumatic ass times. We've been 9/11, COVID, the financial crisis of 2008, the housing crisis now. Like, it's always something. Like, my generation, we have been through so much shit that we've gotten to a point where we just, like, romanticize the past way too much. And a lot of people in my generation don't want to grow up. It's like, and I get it, because the 90s were lit, okay? The 90s were a turnt ass time. To me, that was the last time that America felt pure. Like, some pure uncut. Like, the air I just remember how good things felt. And that is gone, you know, and it's gone. And we have to come to grips with the fact that it is gone and move on. But my point is, the romanticization, yes, of the past, doing that shit too much makes you miss out on the magic of what you can create in the present moment, because all of your power is here. And as long as you're trying to keep living in something that no longer exists, you're never going to reach your full potential now. And I get it, because you can feel so powerless in these times because there is so much going on. That should be even more of an incentive, because if you could be one of those people that can go inward and be calm in the midst of all this shit that's going on, and the fact that the circumstances aren't as easy, you are unfuckwittable. Okay, so I'll give you a story. So I'm originally from Atlanta, and I moved to Virginia, Richmond to be exact, right after I graduated from college. I was hell-bent on getting the fuck out of Atlanta for more than one reason. Namely, you know, my childhood wasn't the greatest in my eyes at that time. And I just wanted to get away from everybody and everything and anything that reminded me of that version of myself. I knew I had to go somewhere completely different, completely not too far away, but far enough to where I could really figure out who I was. I knew I had to do that for me. And in hindsight, I'm so glad, so glad that I did it. But about a year into it, I followed the typical path that most people in my generation did. You know, go to college, get your degree, get your grown-up job, get your apartment, do all the adult things, and you made it. You've done it. Congratulations. You are now an adult. And life can only go up from here, right? Wrong. And it hit me, I want to say, well, my mom was still living. So it hit me while she was still living, about a year after I moved. I hated my job. It was fucking terrible. And I hated everything about life. I didn't have any friends, or so I felt. I felt so alone. Everything that I had knew and everything that was comfortable for me that I knew back in Atlanta was now gone. And I was at a blank slate, which of course in hindsight was the perfect launching pad for me to really figure out my power and what I was capable of doing. But at the time, I was like, I don't want this shit. I don't want this empty ass barren land. I want what I came from. I want my old friends. I want my old places that I used to hang out with. I want familiarity. I just wanted to go back. and I wanted to run back home. And my mom talked me through it, and she knew better. She knew better, and she was like, you can get through this. But the funny thing is, I knew I couldn't really leave. Well, I really didn't figure this out until later, that you can't really leave a place until you learn how to make it what you want it to be. Otherwise, you're going to continue to be a victim of your circumstances. So, after I finally stopped fighting the fact that I now live in Richmond, and I stopped romanticizing, oh, I miss this about Atlanta, man. Atlanta got this, and Richmond don't have this, and Atlanta got this, and Richmond doesn't have this, and I stopped the comparison thing, and I finally accepted and stopped fighting the fact that this is my home now. It became a home. I started making friends. I found my way. I found my path. I basically, before I left, became like a local celebrity. And if you know me or seen me online long enough, you know what I'm talking about. The funny thing is, now that I'm back in Atlanta, I miss Richmond. Like, life is so funny, man, because I would have killed, when I tell you I would have killed to be back in Atlanta within the probably first 4 years of me moving to Richmond. I would have given anything. And now that I'm back in Atlanta, I want nothing more than to get the fuck out of here. Like, but at the same time, I know the lesson. So until I'm able to find what I want here and make this place what I want it to be, I can't leave. That's just life. It's the same thing with any situation. It's just like a job. I'll use a job because that's one of the biggest things that I think people struggle with. When you get in a job and you hate it and you want nothing more, this job is killing me, and you want nothing more than to be relieved from it, it's not really the way. Because what's going to end up happening is just like a relationship. Until you figure out the lesson within it, all you're going to do is recreate that situation somewhere else. That's not to say that, certain circumstances, of course, are better. Duh. But there's always an opportunity to learn. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care if you mop floors for a living. There is something that you can learn day to day from your job, because you, again, are an infinite being. Your limits don't exist. So you can find a new way to learn something new about yourself, because this isn't about the job. What you have to understand is it's not about the job. Fuck the job. It's about you learning how to take the job and use it to your advantage, hell or come high water, because that's what you have to do in life. That's how you leave the circumstances behind, because if you don't learn how to do that, you will forever become a victim to your circumstances eventually. And then you're going to need more, and then you need more over here. I need this to be perfect. I need this to be perfect. And you can't control that type of stuff. It ends up being an endless hamster wheel. You're chasing more money. You're chasing more status. You're chasing the bigger house. You're chasing the bigger car. You're chasing the new title. Whatever it is, you have to find the peace within the situation, and whatever way you can use that situation to your advantage. So as much as I fucking hate Atlanta, I've seen the city lose its soul. Like, I'm like, if you from here, it's just, but at the same time, there is some authenticity here. It's got to be. It has to be, because I just have to shift my perspective in order to be able to see it and be able to find it. It's here. And until I find it, I cannot be relieved of this place. I cannot graduate from this situation, because it doesn't matter where you go, you're going to be miserable. I knew people who lived at the beach and were fucking depressed. And you think, like, nigga, you're at the beach. You wake up every day and this is what you see, and you depressed, because it ain't got nothing to do with the outer. It's the inner. You can find somebody that's in jail that has greater peace than somebody who lives in a high-rise apartment and has all the things. It's the inside that matters. So the fact that I turned Richmond into an oasis, Richmond is lit, okay? If you ever get an opportunity to visit it, amazing city. And what I miss the most is the authenticity of it. It's a little behind, okay? But that was one of the things that I hated when I first got there. It was like, man, these people behind, they don't dress like that, they stuck in the 90s. Meanwhile, that was the thing that made me love it. The fact that nobody was trying, like in Atlanta, to be somebody and to appear like something that they're not. But the authenticity is here. I'm gonna find it. I'm going to find it. Because it's just, I know I'm capable of doing that. But yeah, that's the lesson, man. It's like, you can't get so caught up in the nostalgia of the past, because you'll never really free yourself from the circumstances. You have to understand that everything is what you make it, and it's literally based upon your perspective and what you see about the place, because you can turn anything into an oasis. Adios.